I was sitting on the bus when my head started spinning. I felt sick and sweaty, and could hardly think straight. A few moments later I saw that everyone else around me had collapsed onto each other in a heap of limbs and flesh, unconscious or dead. When they finally pulled us off the road, it seemed like an age before we arrived at the hospital. But even then nobody would answer any questions about what happened to all those people. The driver said he couldn't remember anything. The next thing he knew, his steering wheel was inches from his face. There were others who claimed to have been sleeping soundly when suddenly there was this awful smell everywhere, like burning rubber or something. And just as well, because otherwise how could they explain why their car's doors had opened by themselves? Nobody remembered putting them into drive. Then some poor soul must have put the vehicle back into park. But no one remembered doing so either. For sure though, someone had done it since the airbags hadn't gone off and everybody looked as if they'd fallen asleep after inhaling exhaust fumes. No, nothing out of place with the airbag system. What was more odd than that, however, was that half our fellow passengers didn't have blood running down their faces, but instead their mouths wide open as if frozen mid-scream. If you don't know what I'm talking about now, you'll never understand my problem. I woke up alone in a bed staring at the ceiling, feeling cold despite having kicked off every blanket. After several minutes trying to work out where exactly I might be, memories started trickling through until I realized what had happened. It wasn't nighttime anymore, not even close to dawn yet. Someone had dressed me in pajamas and tucked me under warm sheets while rubbing my feet to help get rid of the pins and needles. The pain throbbed in time with each beat of my heart until I fell asleep again, only to wake once more some hours later. This time the light streaming through the windows revealed the room's familiar furnishings, but none of them matched anything from yesterday. My books were missing, my computer too. Also, all my clothes had vanished along with everything else. In fact, almost everything seemed oddly new compared to the stuff scattered across my desk, floor, and walls back home. The closet door was hanging on its hinges like a broken wing. When I opened it, empty space greeted me, the contents of which I couldn't begin to guess at. A pair of jeans hung together by their belt buckles as if about to jump at any moment and wrapped their arms around me in a bear hug, begging me to hold tight. They weren't mine by any chance. "You've woken up," came a voice behind me, causing me to spin round. There she stood wearing a dressing gown made from sheer white fabric that draped over her body like smoke or spider silk, revealing nothing whatsoever beneath. She wore no makeup apart from lipstick the color of blood that stained both lips and teeth bright red before running down her chin to form a scarlet pool on the collar of the robe. "Are you feeling well enough to eat?" I nodded slowly, wondering whether I was dreaming after all. She took my hand and led me out into the corridor. From somewhere I heard someone muttering in French. The woman laughed softly without turning toward him. "He doesn't know who I am. Who could possibly live here when everyone is dead? It's just an empty house now. We can move in whenever we want. We have all the time in the world." Her eyes were hidden behind dark glasses with gold frames. Her hair fell loosely over one shoulder in long black strands. As she pulled away from me to unlock a door ahead of us, her perfume tickled my nostrils with a sweet smell of vanilla mixed with flowers. A scent so strong it felt like breathing air straight from a bouquet of freshly picked blooms. "Where are we going?" I asked. "You'll see soon." Her smile was almost shy, but only for a moment before it vanished like a shadow in the sunlight and was replaced by something more sinister. I'd seen such looks on people before, usually only on the faces of strangers passing by on the street, but this time they lingered in her pale blue irises as if captured there forevermore and would never leave again. "Just wait until you're inside the house," she added as she unlocked the front door. "Why are you doing this?" I whispered, once she stepped aside to let me enter first. The space behind the open door appeared to be an ordinary room with wooden furniture set against white walls. It looked cozy but didn't seem familiar at all. "We've been waiting a very long time for you. For centuries. Now the time has come at last. The stars are right and all is ready. Are you happy to know that your friend is coming to join us too?" She stopped abruptly and stared past my shoulder into the hallway outside. The voice sounded like that of an old woman, or perhaps that of a young girl trying hard not to giggle, and yet I could have sworn I detected a hint of scorn in her tone when she said, "You haven't told him everything, have you?" I spun around to see nothing but a wall where she had stood just seconds before. Where did she go? Why wasn't she answering? What does she mean about me knowing my friend? She took hold of me and pressed me back against the door so tightly it hurt. I heard her whispering to herself, "Not yet, no. It will happen soon enough. Don't rush it. But as soon as we find them, you won't need words any longer. And then he'll be yours forever." I was dreaming again. But this time I couldn't remember anything after entering the house. Everything from the moment I first laid eyes on the woman faded away into nothingness. There were flashes of images and feelings from different moments throughout the day, but they always ended the same way. Something in me snapped shut like a spring, leaving only a memory that never went away, which eventually led to what happened next. It began with a scream piercing through me like a knife being shoved into my chest before turning into a roaring wind that tore at my hair and clothes until finally ripping me apart like paper. It lasted for hours until my throat burned with thirst and my heart felt fit to burst, every beat echoing painfully across my mind even though I could still hear nothing but silence. The woman found me lying there several days later, having passed out on top of my bed sheets, wearing nothing but the same pajamas she had put me in earlier, though these had somehow been changed from white to red and had lost all their buttons. I didn't know how she'd managed it because all of her own clothing lay scattered around her like confetti while her skin was pale as chalk beneath her eyes and lips painted black. "I told you not to wear your mask." Her voice was cold and distant, her accent more pronounced than before. "You've taken too much blood. You're already dying. You should have let me help you." I tried to stand up, feeling too weak to move. I stumbled forward before collapsing back onto the floor once again.